Timberwolves fans, what's going on? The 2025 season couldn't be any closer on the horizon. We're just 50-ish days away from the season still. But we're going to get preseason ball here at the beginning of October, so we got to take it where we can get it. I believe the Timberwolves are playing a game in Iowa versus the Sixers. I think that's correct off the top of my dome. But with 2025 so close, I figured now is a better time than any to talk about 2026 and my thoughts on what that season could look like after this next one. So, where do the Timberwolves go after the 2025 season and they win their first ever NBA championship, you ask? Well, we look to the future and we do what every good team does and you start preparing. Yeah, it's amazing. I can't believe we won the 2025 NBA Finals. It's incredible. I'm happy of the team who did it. But yeah, okay. So it's 2026 lineup. We have to assume that Rudy Gobert will not be back. That contract cannot exist on these books with the current roster and everything the way it stands. Gonna be making too much money. So let's lock in the for sure's. We'll start with the shooting guard, Anthony Edwards. And we'll start with the power forward, Julius Randle. Point guard, small forward, center. Absolute wild card of who could be starting there. I think it really depends on if we actually do win a finals or not. If we do win a finals, we're probably still going to ship people off. I mean, the Celtics did it and they won one 2 years ago now. It just happens. You can't afford to keep everyone forever. New owners don't want to be paying that type of salary. Um, is what it is. It's not the end of the world. Teams survive it. Now, what do I think the Timberwolves might look to do there? I think the point guard is pretty certain that it will be Rob or someone else that we trade for. Or, we might look to sign someone. I just don't know. The point guard position is the biggest mystery even now. A year from now to try to guess would be like spinning a wheel with a million different options on it. Just not possible to predict, but my top three options obviously would be Rob. Then you got to go Dante, and I still really like trading for Davion Mitchell, whether it's right now or in the future. Small forward. Jaden is there. Jaden is there. He is a small forward, but I have a sinking feeling that Tim Conley is crazy enough to trade him away while his value is as high as it ever has been, especially if he does elevate and continue to play really well this next season. It's gonna be tough for any logical GM to get rid of him. I think it sucks. It sucks so bad to say, but I think Jaden will be the small forward, and if he's not, don't know, because he is right there with Ant in terms of development and the age and everything. It all lines up really perfectly. So to me, I think you gotta stick with him. But if you want a cheaper option, maybe it's out there, but you gotta be crazy to do it. Um, Power forward, Julius Randle. I don't think he's going anywhere. As much as I've talked about trading him, I think he sticks around and continues to kind of be a legacy wolf. Even though it's his fourth team, it kind of feels like he belongs there in Minnesota. I think he likes it a lot too. It's healthier for him. Center, if Randall, if if Rudy really does get traded, that leaves a big old question mark right there in our center position. That does raise the question: do we trade for a center while we trade Rudy? You would assume that it might be a part of the trade, but Baron J is right there. So if it's not Rudy, it's either Nas or Baron J is my prediction, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Let me know what you guys kind of think of the starting five. I think that makes sense. I think Conley, not Tim Conley, but Mike Conley retires after the season, regardless of what happens. Feels like it's time for him to hang it up, and Joe Ingles maybe too. Other than that, everyone else would be sticking around. Got a lot of guys on cheap deals on the bench, not a lot of 1 year deals, so not going to be a ton of change again, which is what you want for a championship window team. And I would expect the lineup next year to look pretty similar, unless we make some drastic moves for the salary cap or whatever other reasons Tim Conley comes about with. So that's the lineup. Now, guys, what could a 2026 trade look like? You're telling me, but I think it is getting rid of Rudy Gobert because of the contract. Not because of the play. It's not going to disappear. He's not going to fall off the way that people are predicting him to fall off, but he's not going to be worth his contract anymore. And someone out there will be dumb enough to eat it, or we'll have to cut him and just eat the cap the way that the Suns are eating Bradley Beal's contract, which sucks. But Rudy Gobert isn't Bradley Beal. He's still going to be good enough next season to be a starter somewhere. So whether someone like the Nets or maybe even like the Blazers are going to have some open money on their books, someone out there who needs a center will come get Rudy. Without a doubt in my mind, we will not be hurting to get rid of Rudy. His name is, it's better spoken of than anyone who is kind of aging and whatever. I think getting rid of Rudy is happening. He will be traded. To who? I couldn't tell you. I wish I could. My guess would be a team that's going to end up needing a center pretty bad. And it became evident this year, like after this season, it became evident, like, hey, we need to make a trade for a guy, whether that, and it needs to be a veteran who is like we gotta go, like he's ready, and let's make a push for it. So maybe someone like the Pistons, even because their center position is it's dicey. So whether they can clear up, it's and that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to be them clearing up cap room, probably sending us a bit of guys and a few picks just to kind of maybe eat some money in there too, which I would do if you give us enough picks and enough decent kind of depth players. I think that could be a good deal. And that honestly is probably the best deal we get for Rudy is someone who in the East is my guess needs a center, maybe someone like the Pacers even. Their books are getting heavy too, but once you ship us a few guys, I think it becomes logical. They could be someone at the trade deadline, just depending on where both teams are at. We could end up trading Rudy there. They're kind of in a weird season where they don't have their best player, and so they're punting, but they're not punting. And Jay Huff is their starting center, I'm pretty sure. So that's not going to work forever. I've seen some trades saying that Walker Kessler might go to the Pacers, but Rudy isn't a bad option there either, whether that's this year or after the season. I would love to see what happens, and that's the trade that I'm probably the most high on for the 2026 season. Um, Heading into the draft. The draft this year is a little more loaded. Like into last year was loaded. It was a loaded draft class. We know that. This next one is like guys who are gonna be in the league for a while, is my guess. Like that's kind of what I'm predicting. I mean, at the top of the draft class, you have Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer, and AJ from BYU. I'm not going to try to say his last name. And then from there, it seems like a lot of role guys or guys who might bounce up in their draft stuff a little bit once the college basketball season played out. But the Timberwolves are expected to be drafting around that 23 to 32, somewhere, or 30, 32. That's NFL on the mind. To the 23 to 30. And the guys that are in there, here's the ones I'm the most high on, the guys I would prefer that we get. Someone I think that could slide is Yaxel Lendenborg. He's older, and teams have been letting those older guys slide quite a bit. So if he does fall from 17, is what Tankathon has him on their big board, I think he could be a nice piece. He's a power forward, but he's developed. He's 20. He's going to be 24 by the time the draft rolls around. Going to be ready to go. Now, if that's not the case, and we actually want to look and take a guard somewhere, the other Boozer brother is a great option. I think he's going to be better than people expect. He's not as good as his brother, supposedly, but they're twins. Like every twin that's come into the league, how much better has the other one been than him? You could argue that the Thompson brothers, but I think the other one just has gotten more of a chance. Like Amon has definitely had more of a chance with the Rockets than Asur has had with the Pistons. It just kind of is what it is. Like obviously their shooting's a little bit different, but I think Caden Boozer could be a nice point guard piece for the Timberwolves. Obviously he would only be 19. He'd be a developmental piece, but you could slide him in there pretty nicely. If another point guard, if you don't want to take Boozer, is Tahad Pettiford from Auburn. He's a great point guard himself. He'll be 21 years old, a little bit older, but not too bad. And that could be our other point guard behind Rob. Honestly, I would have a lot of faith in that backcourt. Let them age up a little bit, but if we don't want to go guard, which I could see Tim Conley doing because he's a freak and likes to draft positions we already have, I think Carter Knox from Arkansas is another great choice. All three of those guys are 24th, 25th, 26th. No specific order on that. They'll probably shake up a bit. But Carter Knox is a good player. And he's a little bit older. He'll be 22 as a sophomore. I believe he redshirted somewhere in there. But I like all three of those guys. I think one of them could be our draft pick without a doubt. It just kind of depends on how the season lays out. We know NBA, your draft stock can rise and fall in a second. So if we could land one of those three guys, we could actually, that would be like drafting TSJ or Jaden. Like they were late round or late first round picks, and look what they've become. With a one is a starting small forward, and the other one is going to be the seventh, eighth man on the Timberwolves, a team that's gone to the Western Conference Finals back to back years. One of those three guys will be that for a team, whether it's us or not. We just got to be the one to grab them before someone else does. Uh, Heading outside of the draft for next year, who could we even look to sign in free agency? That is an absolutely crazy question. My guess is it will be a point guard of some sort. And there's one guy on the top of my mind who I think may be taking a little less money, but we could get him for like 3-ish years and then kind of ride the coattails of his career. Colin Sexton, kind of my first choice. He's making 17 million this year, but I think we could get him for close to maybe 10 million for 3 years, give him a $30 million deal. But the salary cap is going to rise probably, so it'll be a little more than that. Otherwise, it's guys like Gabe Vincent. We're going to look at signing Luke Kennard. It's going to be backups. Like we've got in our, it's just not in the cards for us to sign any big names. Those two are the two at the top of my list. You've got other guys like I would love if they would bring back Kevin Love. Just let him retire a Timberwolf, even though he hates the Timberwolves. Um, he deserves to have his number retired along with KG. Besides the point. So if we could land a guard like Luke Kennard, Gabe Vincent, and Colin Sexton, one of those three, easily my top pick for free agents next year. Matisse Thybulle is another one if we want to land a guard who's a little more defensive focused because some of our guards aren't the most defensive players, and that's okay. That's why you get a guy who can come on and give you some good minutes and play those those defensive minutes. He is 29 though, so it's a little bit out of the age range that we're looking for, but I think he can still go. These guys are playing longer and harder than they ever have, and he could be a nice piece that could slide in there. It is weird how the NBA is kind of in a weird period. There's a lot of guys who are on veteran deals or will be. Kobe White's been in the league for 7 years. How did that happen? Rui Hachimura, like how was it the 2018 draft 7 years ago? It'll be 9 years ago by the end of this season. It's crazy. But if we could land a couple free agents who could sign cheap deals and be veterans on the team, I think next year could be the year that we win it all if it doesn't happen this year. And that's kind of why. So let me know what you guys are hoping for the 2026 season, what you would base it off of from what we've seen in the past season from Conley. And yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. And until next time, take care.